Hey everyone, I'm Richie.
And I'm Will.
We work here at Hydrovane where we manufacture the Hydrovane, but we also distribute a few other products. We have the Ecotech water makers out of Trinidad, the Watt&Sea Hydrogenerators of La Rochelle, France, and one more.
And we've recently taken on the Parasailer, which comes from Germany.
You're quizzing me.
Good question. I don't actually know.
I want to guess 2013?
I don't know. I would say about 11 years.
I think it's 2015.
Really? Okay, so 8 years.
The biggest piece of feedback I receive is probably that they wish they got a bigger one. People love them, they use them all the time, and more power is always better because you keep adding gadgets.
The most common feedback we get is that first of all, people are really excited about the amount of power it can produce, especially when you get into higher boat speeds. It's quite amazing. But I would also say that a lot of people say that it's quite hard to get the unit in the down position, especially if you've got any significant boat speed on. Oh, Richie can answer this better than me.
Depends if you had the 300 or the 600 watt. The 600 watt, I think you'd be getting about 200 watts of power out at 6.5 knots.
Just the fact that you can be an energy neutral boat. I mean, it's just like having solar when you're at anchor. Having the hydrogenerator at sea is just, I mean, it's an amazing thing. You can basically be running a boat across the ocean and not have to be running an engine or a generator and relying on fossil fuels to keep your boat charged up and deal with all the power demands.
Hey, you're already sailing fast. Why not harness the power?
If you have a Hydrovane on board, we have a mounting bracket that allows you to mount the Watt&Sea onto the Hydrovane. So that was another big reason why we got into distributing the Watt&Sea. The fact that you don't have to drill additional holes by being able to mount on the Hydrovane.
If I could get into the mind of an orca, I'd be a very rich man right now.
I would say probably the rudder, because that's what they seem to be going for, and I would imagine that the propeller on the Watt&Sea would throw them off.
I would say that they're probably going to go for the furthest thing back that looks like it's steering the boat, so probably your Hydrovane.
But it's a good question. We actually have not heard of many people having their Watt&Seas attacked.
I would go into the Bluetooth app and just check that you have normal performance. You can see all your past operating performance, and that's not true. You can't do that. I would just give it a visual check and make sure that the plastic gudgeons are in good shape, that the propeller spins, and maybe just spin the propeller and check the Bluetooth app to see if there's any out. For when it's cloudy. That's the obvious answer.
This is actually an important question. So solar is great, but from all the sailing that we've done, especially in the South Pacific, and when you're at sea, whatever solar input you get when you're at anchor, you can easily divide that by 2. Between the sails, shading the panels, the boat rolling around, the rigging shading the panels, it's pretty, you lose a lot of your solar output, and it can even be less than half of what you would normally get. Also, even in trade wind sailing, there's a lot of clouds, and in the South Pacific specifically, we had cloud cover a lot of the time. So that's really why a hydrogenerator makes a ton of sense, because you're not getting the solar input you normally would, and the hydrogenerator just picks up the difference.
At 8 knots, you get into a big split between the two. That's where the 600 really takes off. So with the 600, you'd be over 300 watts of output, whereas the 300, you'd be probably closer to 200 or 250. We can deal Watt&Sea anywhere. The coolest place would probably be a sale we did this week that's just shipping out, which was entirely conducted from his boat in the mid-Atlantic as they were crossing from the Cape Verdes to Grenada. They were on the passage, they realized they didn't have enough power to run everything they wanted and got on Starlink, started emailing back and forth with us, and we were able to get a configuration, figure out their power demands, find a shipping location in Grenada, coordinate everything and get it out the door to meet them when they get to the marina.
So next year we're planning to cross the Atlantic, and it's super exciting, and I'm looking forward to using the hydrogenerator. One of the things that I've always thought would be really cool about having a hydrogenerator on board is that if you're, let's say you're in the Caribbean and you're sitting at anchor and you're not getting the solar input you need and you need to charge your batteries, the concept of pulling up your anchor, going for a day sail, and just basically spending the day sailing, which is something you almost never do as a cruiser, and charging your batteries at the same time would be awesome. It's something that I want to do.